Over here, you got to first understand the concept of grace first. We cannot be talking about achievement and success without talking about grace. It's the sovereign grace of God. Okay? Now, as I've said just now, okay, if you read from the Bible, some will make kings, queens, high achievers, but some ordinary people. Some are very gifted, talented, some very common, or even despised by people. But they're all being used by God in their individual way. So there is one thing to note in this context about grace. It is first and foremost to thank God and accept everything that He has given you through His grace. And if you have successes and achievements in your life, all right, you have a good degree, good job, and good spouses, potential future, and all these things, I want you to first see it as a favor instead of merit. Can we all see it as a favor instead of, because I study hard, so I have good degree? Now, that is your thinking. Because I work hard, because I'm a pleasant character, so I have good friends, I'm well known among friends, well liked among friends. No, this is merit. No, it's the grace. See it as a favor. If not for the favor of God, you can never come this far. Okay? This is the first thing you have to understand about grace first. This is what only we Christians believe. But also, the second thing, okay? The concept of grace, in this sense, also talks about, so we are given the faith to join God. So please, all right? When we talk about grace, don't ever harbor the thinking about, just being laid back, not putting in effort to achieve anything in life, not seeking to improve in anything you're doing, just depend on grace. When I try so hard, and how come the result not that good? People just depend on grace, do nothing, and the result came out good. So it will lead us to thinking that grace equals do nothing. If you not depend on grace, you work very hard. Am I right? No, we always try to think that way. No, I know you have somehow these things in you. So for a while, my wife thought it couldn't be like that, so she prayed. So after a few days, she came out with the conclusion about grace. And she told me about it, and I want to put it to you in my way, okay? So listen up, parents. I have a few parents here. Later I'll come to the students, okay? Okay, if you are a parent who has the capability to teach your child, you must see it as grace. And let the grace of God work through your capability to teach your children. And teach them well. And as you teach them, couple it with faith. Couple it with faith. So that whenever you impart anything to them, you believe more so that the grace will work through what you have taught. And more than what you have taught. Understand that? So do not become too intense and lose your joy in the midst of it. That's one thing. If you have the capability to teach your child, you anchor on grace. But if you don't have the capability to teach your child, you don't understand the syllabus, you're not so educated or whatever, that kind of thing. You pray and believe that grace will also not run dry. Just because you are not adequate or incapable to do certain things. God will do something beyond what you could imagine so that you can praise Him for His grace. So as you study, always remember, as you study, couple it with faith. Grace and faith always goes together. When you say, I depend on grace, it means you couple everything you do with faith. With faith. You study with faith. So do not trust your own capability. And then you lose grace in your heart when you succeed. Because I did something, effort equals outcome. This is the worldly equation. So I put in effort, so I have this outcome. So now you learn from me. God do, you also must do. Understand? Now that kind of teaching, throw it in the dustbin. Not that kind of teaching. No, it's the grace that works through you. You are given that mind to study. Some people just cannot get A, B, or no. Some people just study only, just look through A+. No. For me, study, C, D, So you must understand, if you have that, thank God, it's a grace. So you work hard even so, couple it with faith, and you do well, you know it is God who gives you this inclination to study and to study well. And then you thank God. Cannot study well? Lord, I really look to you with fear and trembling this time, for my exams. And you pray and depend on grace. So with that, why I'm saying this? So with that, you leave no room to comparison or frustration when you don't do well. You also don't end up being proud when you have achieved something, because you're always trusting in His grace. Capability, no capability, it's all great. So at the end, it all points to what God has graciously given us through Christ. Understand? Okay? So, if you want an example, simple. I tell you, David. This fella know nothing about fighting. He just know how to throw stones. But just go to the battlefield, Goliath. I don't know how to use sword, I don't know how to throw stones. And knock him down, beat him hands down. Grace, And then now he joined the army. And then you begin to read, okay, he did everything so successfully, that's why Saul gave him a high rank. Then you want to attribute this to merit, that's wrong. It's also the grace of God. You understand? I want to keep emphasizing this point. Why? Because it is not in our human mind to give glory to grace. You look at the way you think, right and wrong, achieve and not achieving, rich and poor. You always want to give some reasons, must be this fella lazy, never work, that's why he's poor. Am I right? You always start to think the merited mindset. For me as a speaker, I would like to think, but I can preach well because I'm an experienced speaker. But it's easy for the human mind to think like that. No, we don't think like it's Holy Spirit working through. Grace of God coming upon me, using me again and again. And give me the stamina and the perseverance that I will enjoy doing what I'm doing, enjoy studying what I'm studying. We don't think things like that, So that is why, later I'm going to talk, that is why you realize a lot of people can be successful for a while, but they cannot have prolonged and consistent success. Why? Because they stop short of depending on grace. So you notice sometimes when we become, let's say for us preacher, pastors, when we become more knowledgeable, somehow be careful, your message might start to lack conviction. Because you give glory to knowledge, not grace. A lot of times. When our ministry gets busier, we lose peace. Hey, why? We lose joy, in fact. So you come back to this. Now, what is grace? When we become more capable and driven, strangely we have less faith. Last time, full of faith, just depend on God, pray with fear and trembling. Now, more capable, more driven, more planning but less faith. Less willing to trust God in a lot of our ways. So I went through a lot of reflection in my life So you have to go through that, okay? For instance, if you're going to come one day you have a medical condition, and then you start, go to the doctor, and then you get a lot of medical knowledge, you start to read out what to eat, what to drink so that you can be healthy and all. Then you have to check your heart whether after that you trust God less with your health. Lose grace again. It's very easy for us to lose grace in our hearts.